if someone works and then needs to take time off for PTO, you would never enter it up here in the hours section, because that's the time that we bill Medicaid for. So if Erica ended up working for me on these days, but then was supposed to work on Monday but couldn't, and ended up using 5 PTO hours, I would enter 5 PTO right here in the PTO box, but I would not enter a time in and a time out. Also, I would not enter training time in and time out. No, I would enter training time in its own separate box. So for Bobby, I had her train for 6 hours. I would enter these 6 hours directly in the training box, but I would not enter a time in or a time out. Now, some consumers are allowed to schedule in half hours. So if you are allowed to schedule in half hours, you would write that in your time in and time out. So Ann Fay worked on Sunday from 12 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. for 7.5 hours. Let's just say that during this week, that Wednesday was a holiday. Holiday is paid at time and a half, but all you need to do is enter it just like you would do any other day. Then we will enter it into our payroll system as the holiday pay. So, Bobby worked on Wednesday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. for 8 hours. That will automatically register as holiday pay. Now, once everybody has been filled in, what you need to do is, for each person, you would total the columns, and you would enter under here only total hours worked. So, again, for Bobby, 7, 14, 15, 16 and a half hours. For Erica, 10 hours. And for Bobby, 9 hours. Again, note, training hours are separate, PTO hours are separate, never entered in to time in and time out. All personal assistants must sign the timesheet. Without the signatures, consumer-directed choices cannot process the timesheet. In a case where someone has left, you forgot to have them sign, something ended up where they couldn't come for the next shift, what you would do in a case like that is you would certify for the person. So in this case, for Erica, you would never sign Erica's name with or without permission. Your best bet would be to do ED, which are her initials, and then your initials, which in this case would be Keith, KC. Whenever possible, if you fax this and then have the person sign before you send the original in, that is always best. But we must have signatures for all the personal assistants, otherwise we cannot process the timesheet. Now, again, everything's totaled, everything is here, everybody's going to sign. Now, you as the consumer have to Make sure everything is 100% accurate. If it's all 100% accurate, then you're going to sign. By the way, if you are a designated representative, you would sign differently than a consumer would. A consumer would simply sign his or her name, but a designated representative is going to sign for the consumer. In this case, Keith would sign and then he would put for William Golfus. That's always signifying that the consumer is the consumer. You're acting on behalf of the consumer. Once this is signed, everything is accurate. Remove your side pieces. So that you have the white original copy and you have your consumer copy. You keep your consumer copy because this is an important record for you to always have. Then you would take this original copy and you would fax it if possible or scan it so you can email it to us, and then you would put it in the mail. If you don't have access to a fax or email, put it in the mail as soon as you can. But it's important never to send in timesheets before the week has ended. You always have to make sure the week is totally ended and all of the hours are in for everybody to sign, and make sure that those hours were worked in that way. The timesheets always due the following Monday. Again, it ends on a Friday. It's always due the following Monday. Very important so that we can process it in time for payroll. If you have any questions regarding this timesheet, you can call our office and ask for the payroll department. They'll be very happy to walk you through anything that may have confused you. It's also very important to note that 2 personal assistants should not work at the same time unless you have written approval from your Department of Social Services. Otherwise, these times should not overlap. Well, I hope you found this video instructional, and good luck with your new time in and time out.